Gugu, I mean, I was reading about some of those products that we are manufacturing here. Tell us more about them and what they could be used for, other than torture.
Morning, Jane. Thank you for having me on the show. The recent article really highlights the types of electric shock equipment, shock guns and stun belts that are inherently abusive and serve no other purpose than for torture. The main problem with these devices is that there is no limit on the voltage that can be used in South Africa for these devices, and they're currently not regulated at all in South Africa. And this raises questions because this equipment can then be misused or land up in the wrong hands. And there are companies in South Africa that are currently manufacturing this equipment and importing and exporting this equipment.
All right, and it is being used by our police in our prisons, isn't it?
It is being used, and what we're asking for in the recent report that we released is for South Africa to amend its national legislation to be in line with other international instruments. Also, given that South Africa is a member of the African Union and therefore it is a party to the Robben Island guidelines that specifically underline that this equipment needs to be prohibited, as well as the complete production, trade and import of this equipment. So it needs to function and amend its national legislation in line with that. That could be amending, for example, the Correctional Services Act.
All right, who is making these? And other than selling to South Africa, where else does it go?
There are various African countries where this equipment is being exported to, and if one just does desktop research, the information is available online in which South African companies are manufacturing this type of equipment.
All right. So what can be done now with this information? Do you have a sympathetic ear?
There's definitely legitimate use for some of the equipment, but what the main issue is that it needs to be regulated in order to be in line with other international instruments that are in place. And without this regulation, this causes severe problems within public order policing, as you mentioned before. And what we would like is for the government to submit its views to the United Nations General Assembly as well on this particular issue.
I mean, knowing that we're breaking local and international law, what's the repercussion?
The repercussion for this is that it's seen, and it's a global issue as well, and it's at the forefront of the United Nations General Assembly. So it is really important for South Africa to abide by these international laws that it is party to. And we also highly recommend that South Africa join the Alliance for Torture-Free Trade, and this would definitely show support for the prohibition of this type of equipment as well. And if South Africa participates in the Alliance Against Torture-Free Trade that was initiated in 2017, it shows its commitment to international laws and international humanitarian law. And
we really don't want it here with our history of brutal policing and human rights violations.
Absolutely. Yes.
Gugu, thank you.